What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer from blueandgold.com. I was out on the road this past weekend seeing 3 commits for the Fighting Irish in the state of New Jersey, including who you see here, quarterback pledge Steve Angeli in the 2022 class. We're going to look at clips, exclusive highlights of these 3 players. But before we dive into it, please hit the thumbs up on this video, like and subscribe. Help support what we're doing here at blueandgold.com. We appreciate you guys. And we're going to start here by looking at Notre Dame quarterback pledge Steve Angeli. Look at him. He's a big dude, 6'2 and a half, closing in on 6'3", about 215. He's getting closer to 220 pounds. This is a big quarterback. I think he even looks bigger than even what he's listed at. In this game that we're seeing here, Bergen Catholic, the number 6 team in the country per Max Preps, defeated Smyrna, team in Delaware, 52-6. Now Smyrna's a good team, but Bergen Catholic just this much better. You're seeing this one went for a big gain of about 89 yards. This screen here went for a touchdown. So his stats were padded a little bit by those screen plays, but still 14 of 15. For 360 yards and 5 touchdowns. Steve Angeli was just excellent. See him here, I-form formation. Stuff you don't see much in college football. Throw in the corner. Look at this throw, rolling to his right, thrown across his body. Now, this was the one incompletion on the day, but I actually thought it was arguably his best throw on the day to just see it go that far in the air with that arm strength. See him in the quick game, can get the ball out to the flats quickly, can hit those hitch routes, crossing routes, in the short to intermediate pass game. Angeli's fantastic. And then I think, he's an underrated passer down the field. People are just not talking enough about, Angeli's arm strength. Not only that, is a mobility as well. I think maybe the biggest jump from junior year to senior year with Angeli is just kind of the ease of which he's making these throws. Like, they really are nothing to him at this point. Not putting much body into those throws. He can just kind of make these much easier than last year. I feel like a lot of people are coming around on Steve Angeli, but to me, he's basically the same player that we saw last year. He's just smarter from ear to ear, and a lot of these throws are just coming more naturally. So we're going to look at now all of his pregame throws where I was up close and personal. Some of these clips we just saw, but look at these again. Look, Steve Angeli checks all the boxes to me. I've said this before. I will say it again. When I'm talking about a Notre Dame quarterback, I like him at least 6'2". And again, Angeli's already at 6'2", closing in on 6'3". His dad is about 6'6" or 6'7". So, hoping for Steve's sake that, he can get up to, 6'3", 6'4". I think, 6'2" is already fine. But, if he can grow another inch or two, I think you're talking about just that much better of a quarterback when you add that height. I like quarterbacks from cold weather. You're going to Notre Dame. I want someone who kind of just knows what a winter is like in that kind of climate. I like functional mobility. Talk about that a lot. Jack Cohen is a great quarterback. We saw what he just did at Florida State in that crazy win for the Irish. But that's not a strong point of his game. He can't really escape the pocket and pick up yards with his legs. Now, Steve Angeli's not an Ian Book. He's not Tyler Buckner. But he certainly can throw well on the run to his right and his left, and he can pick up yards when he scrambles. We saw a good bit of that last year, when his offensive line wasn't very strong, and we saw even a little bit of that in his game. Again, Steve Angeli just checks boxes for me. He's accurate. You saw in those clips in the pregame, he's making effortless throws, and he is just an accurate quarterback. He's making a lot of checks at the line. That's something his head coach, Vito Campanelli, talked to me about over the weekend. You can check that out at the Gold Standard. That's at blueandgold.com. I'll leave the link to it in the description of this video. He's just advanced as a quarterback at this stage early in his senior season. He can make all sorts of checks. In the run game, pass protection. He has really free reign to audible what he wants to at the line of scrimmage, which I feel like is rare for a high school quarterback. Through 2 games, and again, a strong Smyrna team from Delaware, and then they went on the road in week 1 and blew out, just dismantled Archbishop Hoban, a strong team out in Ohio. Here are his stats. 28 of 31, 555 yards, 7 touchdowns, no interception. He also added a rushing touchdown in week 1. Steve Angeli, someone who dropped from a 4 to a 3-star, something I strongly disagree with, really kind of proving his doubters wrong early in his senior season. Once he gets into that thick of that strong New Jersey ball this season, how will he perform? We'll have to keep an eye on that. Notre Dame has 2 commitments at Bergen Catholic in Oradell, New Jersey, the other being Jayden Bellamy here. He's playing cornerback and breaks up that pass, but was playing safety the rest of the game. See him there, number 23, comes up and makes tackle. He plays some safety, plays some cornerback. Talked to Campanelli about this as well, which you find at the Gold Standard. He told me that, look, he's such a good tackler. We want him at safety, but he also can cover so well, so we like him at cornerback, and that's what Notre Dame sees as well. I believe he'll play safety at Notre Dame, but don't be surprised if he ends up at cornerback because of that versatility. He had 5 tackles and that pass deflection in this game. Also has, we'll play a little bit of receiver. He didn't in that game, but he had, in his week 1 performance, had 3 receptions for 54 yards. Jaden Bellamy, someone that the Notre Dame staff coveted and beat out Penn State for his services. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's listed at 5'11", 175 pounds, but to play the field safety position or corner for Notre Dame, Bellamy's got the size, and he certainly has the speed and athleticism to play it as well. In one of the more bizarre football games I've ever seen at the high school level, Irvington, New Jersey lost to Mount Olive 2-0, and here was the highlight play of the game. Adon Shuler making that tackle. Let's replay it. Talk about coming downhill and making a pop. That is just a big-time tackle. That was his highlight play of the game. He had a few tackles. You'll see another one here. It was coming at me, so I tilted the camera down. I was about to get out of there, but Shuler making the stop. Here is his pass deflection on the day. Physical coverage, but, he played the ball, and that's why the pass interference flag was not thrown. Overall, Adon Shuler had a similar day to Bellamy. Wasn't really tested downfield. You see the tackling ability. Also, one thing with both Shuler and Bellamy, they're both kind of captains, leaders, quarterbacks of the defense, if you will. They're calling out checks. Strong leaders. Shuler's a little bit more vocal than Bellamy is. Shuler's going to, pat some guys on the helmet and encourage them. Here you see Shuler at kick return. You also saw him a little bit at wide receiver. His team didn't attempt any field goals or PATs, but he's also the team's holder. A lot with Shuler that I like. He's ranked as a 4-star by Rivals. And you could see that the size, the athleticism, the tackling ability. Think of Adon Shuler. Offers a lot at Notre Dame, and that's why they took his early pledge, because they love his upside. Depending on how he grows, I could even see him, being a Rover. I don't think that's out of the question. We'll just have to see how Adon Shuler continues to develop. But you see him pointing at Notre Dame fans right there, saying, hey, just wait a couple years. You guys are going to be impressed by my play. And that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up if you like what you saw. What do you think about quarterback Steve Angeli? Are you someone who's coming around on him? Do you still want to see some more? What do you think about Bellamy and Shuler? Make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section.